Here it goes, Alabama Republicans, Ron Paul supporters, whoever you may be. Ron Paul has answered all the questions. National security. How do you stand on national security, national defense? Well, here's how I stand. Bring the troops home, secure our borders. What do we have right now? We have 900 bases in 120 countries defending somebody else's borders. How do our borders stand? Porous, like Swiss cheese. There's nobody standing on them. Border Patrol agents are not backed up. If they try to stop somebody, or if a police officer in this nation stops somebody, it's not legal for them to say, "Are you an American? How did you get here? How long have you been here? Do you even speak English?" No, they can't do that. Sir, I will write you a traffic ticket. You may go home. National defense. On the economy. How does he stand on the economy? Well, how does it work? We have the dollar. That's our national currency right now. 80 years ago, it was worth $1. Right now, it's worth 5 cents compared to that dollar from 80 years ago. If it was a strong dollar, as it was then, we wouldn't have to work as much. We could buy more with it. We'd have a stronger economy around the world. We wouldn't have to spend $3 on a gallon of gas. It costs somewhere around, 20 cents. We'd be able to provide more jobs because employers wouldn't have to pay so much out of their payroll to hire people. In fact, you wouldn't have to have 2 jobs, 3 jobs to support a family of 4. Why? Because the dollar goes further. In the 50s, you had the father. He had 1 job. Not a great job, blue-collar job. Support a family of 4. What do they do with it? They buy a house. They buy a house. What else do they do with it? They buy a car and a television. And they take a week during the summer to go on vacation to Florida or Long Island or wherever the hell people go for vacation. It was a great vacation place. Okay. National security, that kind of covers monetary policy as well. How do you actually fix the national debt? What are these guys saying over here? What are these guys saying over here? Oh, I'll tell you what they're saying over here. We need to increase spending taxes a little and not really decrease spending much because we have a lot of things that we're obligated to. We have to honor Social Security forever. We have to honor Medicare and Medicaid forever. We have to support these bases all around the world forever. And then what does Ron Paul come up and say? He says, well, we need to really seriously think about spending. It's not about taxes. Why isn't it about taxes? Because right now, something like 3% of the country pays 95% of the taxes. And 50% of the country pays nothing. Okay, he addresses the real issues. He does. And they say, well, he's a crackpot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a conspiratorial nitwit. But he's speaking the plain truth that all of us have to hear. He's giving you the answers that you need to get out of this mess. So, what happens? He's giving you the truth. And here's what we do. Mr. Paul, this newsletter was published under your name. And there were some incendiary things in it. Oh, yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. I was practicing medicine at the time, and I didn't read it when it was coming out. No, there were occasions when I did, or when I actually published something on my own, which had to do with monetary policy, or the gold standard, or national, anything that he actually wrote. He read those things, which was maybe 1% of the stuff that he wrote. So let's focus on the stuff he didn't write. There are some things, they were really incendiary. There were racist remarks. He talked about people with AIDS not being able to eat at restaurants, and people in Washington, D.C. being apes in a zoo. Yeah, that's pretty racist because a lot of people in Washington, D.C. are black. And how people didn't calm down until they had their welfare checks. I've told you people this. for years. For years. I disavow them. I didn't write them, and I didn't know about them until like 10 years after the fact when you all brought them up. Well, you made a lot of money off of it. You know, if I wasn't practicing medicine, I probably wouldn't have been able to support myself. Well, sir, you know, this is a really important topic, and we need to talk about this. Okay, what do you want to know? Did you write this? Look, I told you, I didn't write them. I didn't write them. How many times are you people going to ask me this? I did an interview yesterday with your network. With your network. What did I say? I said I didn't write them. I disavow them. I didn't know about them until long after. Well, sir, why aren't you answering this question? What do you mean? You know, this interview's over. And then if you watch the unedited clip, you can see on his face just the resignation of, I'm trying to help you people. I'm trying to get you out of this mess. And you're talking about this nonsense that has nothing to do with anything. Black people see past it because they know I'm speaking the truth. They know I'm for every American in this country. They know I want to give them their liberty back. They know I want to restore their First, Fifth, and Seventh Amendment rights to them. What's your agenda? Oh. You want to keep a certain class from rising because you're married to them, or you're invested in a certain thing, or your company is, your news program is tied to a certain company. You know, America, I'm glad we have YouTube because you can actually see the behind the scenes. You can see the unedited footage. There must be a Ron Paul supporter somewhere at CNN because the unedited version got on CNN, and if you watch the interview, it's amazing the things he says at the beginning of it. But what do we do? What do? We watch CNN. We don't investigate it further. We watch CNN. We watch Fox News. Judge Napolitano, I don't know how you have a show on Fox News because you're too pro Ron Paul. You're too for liberty and justice. I mean, your time's numbered, brother. But what I'm telling you, America, is please don't worry about a Mitt Romney. He's the front runner in New Hampshire. This is what I found interesting. They said, I watched an interview or a commentary or something about Mitt Romney doing well. I think it was on Politico. Yeah, I read it. And they said, the people really like him up there because he speaks French. What? He speaks French? What the hell do I know about French? Sure, you know, I took like 5 years of French from 5th grade up until I was a senior in high school along the way. And parlez-vous français? Oui. Je sais français un petit peu. But beyond that, I don't know what it is. Bibliothèque, that's a library. Bicyclette, that's a bicycle. What do I care if the president speaks French or not? I want to know if he speaks American. And how do I know he speaks American? Because he brings our troops home. What's that have to do with it? Because our American troops want to come home and quit fighting these wars, these illegal, undeclared wars of foreign aggression against these people who can't do anything to us. Mitt Romney. That's you, Mitt Romney. Newt Gingrich. Let's look at one little thing that I learned about you on YouTube tonight. You bailed out the Mexican government so the banks wouldn't lose their investment in the peso. Not because it was detrimental to national security. $60 billion he gave these people. $60 billion. How much does Ron Paul want to give to a foreign government? 0. So you just, Mitt Romney, you supporter of foreign nations and not of America or the Constitution, you go ahead and you give our money away. I'll tell you what you're not going to get. You're not going to get our vote, especially in Virginia and Missouri. Why? Because you're not in the ballot. You know why you're not in the ballot? Because you can't get 10,000 signatures. Mitt Romney and Ron Paul got 15,000 signatures just so they could bypass the scrutiny of the ballot investigation to make sure they had enough. Did it in Missouri too. You're not getting elected in Missouri, or at least not nominated in Missouri. So people, when you look at these candidates, the others want to weaken your dollar, want to continue undeclared, illegal, unconstitutional foreign wars. They don't want to fix the economy for real because they don't know how to fix the debt. And they want to take away your rights or keep your rights away from you with the Patriot Act, with the NDAA, with SOPA. Who's for you? There's only one person for you, people. Ron Paul. Throw it away. You're not going to get a chance again. Ron Paul 2012. That's all I got to say about it.